Hi, in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can make a desktop application in C#. Specifically, we're going to be looking at an example of a video player, right? So we're going to be looking at a video player that actually plays videos from your computer. For instance, right here I've already made the player, so I'm going to just show you how it works first, and then I'm going to show you how you can actually make it yourself. Okay, so if I just click this open button right here, it'll actually go to my computer and open a folder with videos, right? So if I just click this video right here and select it, you can see now a pop-up window opens here that actually plays the video. All right, and I can actually pause this video, I can play this video again, right? I can even just stop the video entirely, right? I can even open another video as well. Right, depending on how many videos you have on your computer. Obviously I just have this video right here. Okay, so let's actually see how to make this then. Alright, so let's get started. So what you want to do first is create a folder. Okay, I'm just gonna create this folder and call it video player. Alright, and then I'm gonna open this folder in the terminal. Right, so I have my folder open in my terminal, right? I have my folder path open in my terminal. So the first thing you want to do is actually install your GUI, right? Your graphical user interface. All right, so the graphical user interface we will be using is Avalonia. Okay, so we're just gonna say .NET, right? New install Avalonia templates. Okay, very important. You want to say .NET new install Avalonia templates. All right, but I've already installed this, so I'm not going to install it again. But when you press enter, it's going to install your libraries for your graphical user interface. Okay, so the way to check if you actually have installed it, you'll say .NET new list. All right. So as you can see, it'll show you all the templates that you have installed on your computer. Right now for me, you can see I have a bunch of these, but the important thing I'm going to show you right now is this. Okay, as you can see, I have the Avalonia.net app already installed. Okay, so this is my template. So this is what we're going to be using. All right, so once you've installed that, you should be able to create or rather follow along with the video. Okay, so just make sure that you install Avalonia first. Okay, so now that you have installed Avalonia, it is time to actually create the app. Okay, so what you're gonna do is just say .NET, right? New Avalonia .app, right? And then press enter. Okay, so this is gonna create an Avalonia.net app template. Okay, so once that's created, we have to add a few packages. All right, so these packages, one of them is the VLC library. Okay, so we're gonna say .NET add package. Okay, and then we're gonna say lib VLC and then sharp. All right, so VLC sharp. Make sure make sure that this is spelled correctly. Okay, make sure that this is spelled correctly. Just make sure that this is spelled correctly. I was supposed to say that. Yeah, and then press enter. Okay, and then we're gonna add another library. We're gonna say .NET add package lib VLC again sharp dot Avalonia. All right, and then press enter. Okay, that's it then. So now that we've actually gotten these libraries and have created our app, I think it's about time to actually visit Visual Studio Code, right? So now we're going to open this folder in Visual Studio Code. So we're just going to say code dot. All right. Okay, so if you have created your app correctly, you should have these files right here. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is go to the main.xml.cs script. Alright, and then I'm just gonna open it in full view. Okay, and then I'm just gonna get rid of this constructor right here. Okay, and first create some instance variable. So the first I'm gonna say private media player instance. I'm just gonna call it media player. All right, and the second instance would be the VLC library instance. So I'm just gonna say private lib VLC, and I'm gonna say lib small letter L VLC. All right, and then I'm gonna create some buttons. Okay, so private button. This is gonna be my play button. And then private button, and this is gonna be my pause button, and it's gonna be private button, and this is gonna be my stop button, private button, and lastly it's gonna be my open button. Okay. Alright, that is it with my instance variable. So now I'm just gonna bring back my constructor. So public main window, right? And create the initialize components method. Alright. And then create a function called setup. Alright, so now that I've created that, it's actually time to create some of these functions. So I'm just going to override this initialize component function. So I'm just going to say private void initialize component. And then let's just say Avalonia XML loader. So I want this one. Okay, so it loads XML for Avalonia application. So right, it loads the XML for Avalonia application. So there you go. And then I'm gonna say just load this XML. All right. And then I'm gonna have to set up some buttons. Okay, so I'm therefore going to have to create this setup function as well, right? So I'm just gonna say void setup. All right, so here first I need to initialize the library, the VLC library. So I'm just gonna say core.initialize, and then I'm gonna say new libvlc. Okay, and I'm also gonna initialize the media player as well. So I'm just gonna say media player equals to new media player of type, well, VLC lib. All right, so let me just put parentheses here. I forgot those parentheses there. All right, so now it's actually time to bind some UI, right? Bind UI controls, our buttons. Okay. All right, so let's start with the play button. So I'm just gonna say this dot find control button. All right, and then I'm gonna say find the play button. You'll see later on how this would make sense when we are actually writing our button UI code. All right, so I'm just gonna copy this because it's gonna be a repetitive task, right? So I'm gonna change this play button now to the pause button, right? And therefore I need to also change this to pause. So remember, if you're copy pasting this, remember to change both there and here as well. All right, so I'm gonna paste this as well and change this to stop button and this to stop as well. And lastly, I'm gonna copy paste this again and now change this to open. Alright, and also change this to open. So if you make a mistake here, your app will not work correctly. So make sure to make sure that this is typed correctly. Alright, so now that we've finished binding our UI controls, it's time to set up some button clicks. What happens when a person presses play, right? We have to make sure to handle that. So set up button clicks. Alright, so the first one would be the play button, right? So when the play button is clicked, what do we want to happen? So we're going to subscribe to an event. Okay. We're going to subscribe to an event, media player, right? Play. So what happens is, you click the play button, what happens is the media plays whatever is playing, right? Okay. So yeah. We're gonna also have to do the same for the other ones as well, so I'm just gonna copy paste again and just change this play button to the pause button, right? And this to pause. Okay, and then I'm gonna do this again for the other buttons. Now this is the stop button. Alright, so this is gonna be stop. Alright. The only exception would be when we actually have to open a file in our computer. This is gonna be handled differently. So just gonna say open button dot click, right? Plus equals, so SE, right? So this time we're gonna say await because we are doing an IO, or rather a file operation, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do is say open file dialog. All right, this is a function that we are going to create just now. Okay, but for now, let's say we create a variable and then create a video view, right? So we need to be able to view our video. Just gonna say video view. And then this time we actually want the canvas, not the button. Canvas for our video view. And then we're gonna say video canvas. All right, and then we're gonna say media player dot end reached plus equals sender args Okay, and then we're gonna say video view dot background equals to Avalonia dot media dot brushes. Brushes dot brushes dot gray. Just put gray color there once everything is ended. So once the video actually stops playing, or rather no, once the video ends, okay, so once the video ends, we'll set the background to gray. That's it. That's what this line is doing. Okay. So now we need to take care of handling our file. Alright, so now we need to take care of this function, okay, opening the file from our computer. Okay, so let's actually do just that. So down here, so just below setup, just below the setup function, we're going to create a function. It's private async task, okay, of task, right, and then we're gonna open file, dialog. All right, so there you go. Just make sure that the name of this function is the same as the one you described here, right? So open file dialog. Okay, so now we're gonna say top level just to top level dot get top level this. All right, and then we're gonna check if top level is not null, right? Top level is not null, and then we're gonna say storage provider is storage provider. All right, and then we can take that storage provider, so await storage provider, the variable that we just created here, dot open file picker async, right? So this is where we're opening our file from our computer, right? And then we're gonna say new Avalonia dot temp dot platform dot storage dot file picker open options. We want file picker open options. All right, looks really a lot. And then we're gonna say this, open parentheses, okay, like this. All right, and then we can put some semicolons there. Okay, now I know this seems long, but just go through it very carefully. All right, so now we're gonna say, give this a title. I'm gonna call it open video file. All right, so that's actually that. Okay, open video file. So these are options that we're providing. Then allow, we have to allow multiple not, because we don't want to select multiple files. Just say false because we haven't handled multiple files, right? We haven't handled a playlist, for instance. So we don't want a playlist here because we haven't actually handled how to do a playlist here. So we're only going to allow one video to be played at a time. So that's why we have to stop. That's how we have to put this to false right here. So we're going to play only one video at a time. Only one file at a time, right? So we're gonna only have one file at a time in our media player because we haven't handled a playlist, so we can only add one file at a time. All right, and then we can say file type filter. Right, so this is the type of media that we're gonna be accepting. All right, so you're gonna say new Avalonia dot platform dot storage dot file picker file type. All right, and then we're gonna provide this video files. Okay, it's video files, and we're gonna say parentheses again, and we're gonna provide patterns for the video files. So it's gonna be new array of, so say we wanna be able to play .mp4 files. Okay, we also want to be able to play .rv files, right? We also want to be able to play .mkv files, right? We also want to be able to play .move files. We also want to be able to play .flv files, whatever extension that you know as well. But yeah, we're gonna stop it here. Okay, so these are the files that our video player will support. Okay, so just make sure you don't make any mistakes when writing this. Okay. Yeah, so now we can actually come back here, right? So after this right here, we're gonna come back here and say if files dot count, right, is greater than 0, which means it's not empty. Well, we're gonna have to do something. We want to say string file path, right, equals to files at index 1, because obviously we'll actually have one file, because remember we said we did not allow multiple files, right? So that's why we have this index 0 here as hard coded. All right, and then we're going to say dot path dot local path. All right, and then we're just going to say play video. And then we're going to say file path. All right, and then lastly, in our last curly braces, well, second to last curly brace, we have to make sure to return something, right? Because we are expected to return task here. So all we'd have to do here is just say return task dot completed task. All right, but now we have this error right here. This just means that we actually have to have this play video function, right? We need this video function right here. We need this play video function right here. So just below our open file dialog function, we're just gonna go under here and create this function. Say private void play video. All right, and then we pass in a string and pass in the location of the video as a file path. Okay, And then if the string dot is not null or empty, if the string is not null or empty, then we want to do something. Okay, if the string is not null or empty, then what we want to do, we want to say media player dot stop first. So stop whatever the media player, if the media player was playing, we want to stop it. Okay, so that's why we're going to say media player dot stop in case it was playing, right? And then we want to say var media equals to new media new system dot URI file path. All right, and then we're gonna say media player dot media is equals to the media. All right, and lastly we're gonna say media player dot play. And with that line, we are officially done. Okay, we are done. Well, not officially done because we still have to handle the UI, but this is the hard part right here. So we are done with the hard part. Okay, so this code right here is the one that's gonna handle the functionality of our video player, including playing a video, pausing a video, stopping a video, or opening a file in our system in order to select a video. All right, so just go through it again and check if you did not miss any mistakes, because it's easy to make mistakes with this. All right, so now I'm just simply going to go back to my file explorer. Okay, and then I'm going to go here now to the top of this file, the main window.axml file. All right, so click here and then just open it. All right, so what you want to do now is get rid of this line right here from here. Okay, all the way up to here. All right, because we're gonna enter our own thing here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say x class, all right, equals to, and then we're gonna say video player, right, video player dot main window. Okay, so let's actually explain this a bit. Let's explain this. So what we're doing here is actually referencing this main window.xml CS script. Okay, very important, because if you go back here, remember this is the main, this is the main folder, right? The folder that you created earlier, remember? So you're saying video player, and under video player reference this main window right here, class, right? So we're actually pointing to this main class right here. So very important to get that correctly. So video player dot main video. All right, and then we're gonna say title. I'm gonna say video player. All right, you can name this one whatever you want. Okay, it's up to you what you want to name your media player or video player. Okay, it's up to you here. And then we're gonna say height. Here we're gonna start with the height of 600 and the width of 800. All right, and then we close this afterwards. All right, so you should have something like this. And now let's actually put our buttons together. So the first thing we want to do is say stack panel. All right, so you have to open it and close the stack panel tag. All right, and under it we're going to create a canvas. So I'm sure you'd already remember from our main window class that we actually referenced the canvas before. So we're just going to say the name of this canvas is a video canvas. And then we're gonna create its width here as well. Let's say it 800 for width, and then our height is gonna be 450, and then our background, we're gonna say it's black. Alright, so we have our canvas right there, our video canvas. Now let's actually handle our buttons. So we're gonna say stack panel again, and then we're gonna say orientation. Wait, before we actually do that, let's actually make sure to close the tag as well, because sometimes it's easy to forget to close the tag. And once we do that, we come back here, right, under the first tag stack panel, and say orientation. Orientation is horizontal, right? Okay, because we want our buttons to be aligned horizontally. All right, and then we're gonna say horizontal alignment. They align horizontally, aligned at the center. Right, so we're gonna have to say we want them to be horizontally aligned, but at the center. Okay. Now that's that. So inside the tags, we're gonna start creating our buttons, right? So the first button we wanna create is our play button. Okay. So our play button. So we're gonna say content is okay. So here we're gonna have to create a special effect, something like a play button icon. Okay, but we're gonna use Unicode for that. So we're gonna say / and then we're gonna say U, and we're gonna say 25 capital letter B, and wait, sorry. I think we have to say / U 25 capital letter B and 6 right here, space, and then we're gonna say play. All right, and then we're gonna say margin, and our margin would be 5, and then we close this. All right, and then we're just gonna copy this. I'm gonna copy paste this. Right, and then we're gonna change this to the pause button. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Pause button, right? And then we're just gonna say this is pause. Okay, and we're gonna change this to 23 F. Oh, I'm changing the wrong one now. 23 F8. All right, and then I'm gonna copy paste again, and now say this is a stop button, and change this to stop. All right, and then this is gonna be 23 F9. All right, and lastly we're gonna say this is gonna be the open button, and we're gonna change this to open, right? And this is gonna be U1 F4 C2. Right, and then we get rid of the rest. Okay, and with that we have actually finished our video player. We are actually done, right? So all that's left is for us to actually run this code and see if we have any errors. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is go to my terminal. So I'm just gonna go here and I'm going to go to the terminal right here. So I'm just going to expand it and just say .NET run and see how this works. A lot of warnings. Alright, so here we go. The only problem we're getting here is that these are not functioning. The icons themselves are not being read. Okay, so it might be that we've actually written them incorrectly. But let's see if the buttons work themselves. So if you click open, as you can see, we can open, we can select a video, right? And it actually plays. All right, and if we pause it, it does in fact pause, right? Let me just go here. It does pause. If I play again, it plays, right? It pauses, it plays, it stops, right? So everything works. It's just that here we are having problems with the Unicodes right here. So they're not actually being read correctly.